I think we'll see a lot of our fans there tomorrow, so I think it makes a lot of sense for them to drive an hour up the road to see us play. When they came into the league, I thought it was a perfect match for what our league's vision was, a regional, Midwest, mid-major basketball league. They certainly deserve the invite with all their success in the Northeast Conference, 2 NCAA tournaments and NIT, win over Kentucky. So he's a great coach, not a good coach, great coach. Got a lot of respect for him. I used to go to his practices when I was at Fairmont. So I know the guys he trained under. This team is still learning. They've got 9 transfers. They've had some COVID issues. One really misleading thing about their win-loss is they've played the 30th best schedule in the country. So they've been at Kentucky, at Davidson, at Ohio U, at Bowling Green. They've played a lot of people.
Has this, new group of all these young guys kind of lived up to what you wanted this team to be when you got here?
I give our guys a lot of credit. We've really persevered to have, maybe your best player. You hate to always say somebody's the best, but let's call it like it is. I mean, one of your most experienced, your best defensive player, and your first or second best offensive player go out the second game of the year. That's hard. So I give our guys a ton of credit. This group is a lot of fun to coach. When you come in every day and you enjoy being around these guys on and off the court, it makes your job really, really fun. I've never really looked at coaching as a job. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of close games. We've had 2 blowouts. We've been blown out twice. And I think our guys have responded both times the next day in practice. We had a great day at practice yesterday. Oakland just got a little bit out of our hands. They are really, really good. One of the best teams I've seen in my last 5 years. So right after the game, we said, listen, here's where we're at. We're not where we want to be, but at the end of the day, at our level in our conference, it's not where you're at right now. It's about where you're finishing. Are you getting better each and every day? What's your mindset? Because inside the Horizon League, we got 3 games in 5 days. 1 ankle injury, 1 bad attitude, 1 missed layup, whatever it may be, is going to have a big impact on our season. So the league keeps you on your toes with so many games in such a short period of time. So you got to be short, you got to be sweet with practice. You got to have an upbeat attitude. You got to be your leader's got to lead. Michael's done a good job. Garrett and Jameer has done a great job. Daniel and Shamar. They're really figuring it out. Are we totally where we need to be? No. But do I like the direction? Yes. It's nice to finally be back inside the Beagley Center. We got lucky last week getting Defiance, getting a home game in a very short period of time. But, we're on the road the first 5 games of the conference play. One day I'd like to see that get changed. I think we're one of the only leagues in America where there's such a discrepancy of home and away games. And that's only going to change, with some of the buildings. A lot of these teams don't own their buildings. We hear that a lot in the off season about the schedule. So hopefully that'll change, but, that's just what we have to deal with. What I'd really like to see this weekend are some great crowds. I know there's a lot going on, with the new, obviously the surge in the cases of Omicron. And, we're doing everything we can here as a department, asking the fans to mask up. But get in here, get loud, support these 2 basketball teams. I'm John Barnes and the women's team's biggest fan. I've been pumping them up for 6 months. I watched them in the summer and said, this is a great team. We've got a pretty good team. Both teams are playing well. We're a game out of first. They're in first. Get behind the teams, get some crowds, create that home court advantage. We understand there's a lot of people that haven't seen this team yet. So it'd be great to get some good crowds this weekend as well.
I talked to the commissioner before the holidays, and she says the round robin is probably going to stay. How can you guys change that instead of playing everybody, because now you're in the schedule where you're playing 3 games in 5 days? Is that something that could be changed, or you would like to see changed instead of playing everybody throughout the year?
Dana, it's weird because we have 12 teams. But there are some other conferences that actually have more teams and don't play everybody twice. What I would like to see is just a change. I'm okay if we're going to play everybody twice, but one home on Wednesday and then one away on Saturday. That's what most of college basketball is about. You play a home game in a week and you play in a road game. Certainly not start your season the first 5 on the road. That's very, very unheard of. When we were playing West Virginia, the assistant looked at me and said, how do you have your first 5 games in your league on the road? I've never heard of that. They're not used to that in the Big 12 and, the Power 5. So I think we've got to be strategic. I don't know how it can be done, Dana, but I'm a big believer in anything can be done if you put your mind to it. I think the biggest thing in the short-term season is figuring out cancellations, figuring out if it's a forfeit, it's a no contest, do we have to reschedule? Is the NCAA going to come down on the number of mandatory games you have to play in the NCAA tournament, which is 24? That's on my mind every day. Just getting these games in is really important. We got 3 opportunities in 5 days. You just knock on wood because the last time we were all in here together, the game got canceled. You want your kids to play. Certainly want them to be healthy. That's the biggest thing. But everything we're dealing with, it's a little different again, Dana, right? It feels like we're going back to last year. The league I know is meeting today. The athletic directors are meeting today, and they're trying to figure that out. But I don't think we're the only league talking to some Power 5 guys with the Omicron surge. I don't think anybody was ready for this. I think they thought really, encourage your guys to get vaccines and boosters, and we would be okay with our schedule. So, our league's Thursday, Saturday. So when do you make those games up? Do you now play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday? You play 3 games in a week. Now it becomes, you're really gone away from school because they are student athletes. You start worrying about injuries. You start worrying about their well-being. So I think there's a lot of things to figure out here in the next 24 hours inside our conference. I think there's been some good communication. We were on a call yesterday with all the head coaches. Was very appreciative of that our commissioner took the time to answer our questions, some suggestions on how we should do this. Because I think a lot of us were a little bit surprised when a lot of the games started getting canceled. There's that disappointment by the coaches and the players. We prepared for Detroit for 2 days. And then, like I said, we're really happy we got Defiance in because we just needed a game. Our kids did not need to come back around here and sit because you start worrying about their mental health as well.
The Detroit game then is being decided. Could be.
Well, it can't be made up. No, it cannot be made up because we went out and scheduled a game. So, we'll play 21 league games, but if you look at everybody in the conference right now, Cleveland State's down a game. Oakland's now down a game. UIC and IUPUI are down 2 games. Who knows if anybody will get 22 league games in? So I think the most important thing are we going by win percentage? Are we going back to what we had last year, a power system based on the number of games you get in, based on home wins versus road wins? To me, the most important thing is seeding for the conference tournament. As we both know, you've been covering this league a long time, the top 4 seeds have a great chance to get to Indy because you get a first-round bye and you host a first-round game. So how you determine your league standings should be at the top of the conversation, in my opinion, along with no contest, forfeits, and all the other stuff, testing, and everything else that's being talked about. They got a lot of guys, new guys, a lot of guys that could score the ball. They've had some guys in protocols and missed a few games. They've had some injuries. Very, very difficult scout, Joel, because they have a lot of guys that can make some shots. They shoot 35% from 3. He plays a lot of guys. You get into having to manage and understand a lot of guys' different games. But we've had a couple good days, and we got to be ready to play. Great venue. I think maybe one of the best venues in the conference. I mean, they put a lot of money, almost $40 million into that facility, and they got a practice facility now. It's top notch. So, they're building their program, and it's only their second year in our conference, but they've made a huge financial commitment to men's basketball and women's basketball and all their sports. So we got to be ready to go.